Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about how I work my 1x1 right cable cross and a 1x1 left cable cross. These are two stitches that appear in my Ziggy Hat, and today I'm going to show you how I work them with a cable needle and without a cable needle. And let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with the right cable cross, and basically a 1x1 cross means that you're taking 1 plus 1 stitches, so 2 stitches, and you're basically reversing the order. But the idea is that you're going to get this second stitch to kind of lay in front of the first stitch, and I've completed one here. You can see that this stitch is kind of leaning over to the right, and that's why it's called a right cable cross. So let's do one right here with a cable needle. Now with a cable needle, what we're going to do is take that first stitch and set it in the back, and then we're going to knit the second stitch. And then you can either put that stitch from the cable needle back onto your left-hand needle, or you can just knit it directly from the cable needle. I think it's a little faster if you knit from the cable needle. And there you go. We've created a second right cross here. See the first one there, the second one there. So these are right-leaning crosses. So let's do it one more time with the cable needle. We're going to take that first of the 2 stitches, slip our cable needle into it as if to purl, and put it in the back. Just kind of hold it there with your finger, or it can just hang there. If you want it out of your way, you can push your finger down. And then you're just going to knit that second stitch and bring the stitch on your cable needle right up and work that stitch right off your cable needle. And again, we've got a third right cross sitting right there. All right. Now to work this stitch without a cable needle, there are a bunch of different methods. This is my method. I just go very old school and reverse the stitches. So I'm going to take my right hand needle and I'm going to slip it purlwise through these 2 stitches. Now this works especially well with a woolly yarn, not a superwash yarn. And then I am going to take my left needle and go around behind the work and slip it through that first stitch over there. And then I'm going to slip my needle out. See how the stitch is just hanging there? I'm just going to pop it on the needle. You see, I'm just going to grab it, not twisting it, and put it on the needle. Okay, now they are reversed in their order, and all I do is knit them both, and I've created a right cable cross. I'll show you that again. All right, so we get up to our 2 stitches where we want to work our right cable cross, and again I'm going to take my right hand needle and I'm going to put it purlwise through both of those stitches, pull them off onto the right hand needle, and then I'm going to take my left hand needle behind the work right into that stitch. See, I just went right in there, almost like a purlwise, just not twisting anything. And then I'm going to pull my right hand needle out. See that little stitch is just hanging out there? Just going to grab it, just straight through, and put it right on my needle. And then I can just knit them both, just like that. So that's how I cable without a cable needle for very simple 1x1 crosses. There are other methods where you can, for example, knit into the second stitch, right? And then don't let the yarn come off your needle, turn it around and knit into the second stitch, and then once you've completed that, pull them both off. That will also create a right cable cross. So there are many ways to do it, but those are just some of mine. So let's look at the left cable cross now. Let me get over and create a little space for us. Left cable cross is going to look a lot like the right cable cross, except that instead of leaning to the right, it's going to lean to the left. Now what that means is if we're using a cable needle, that we want this first stitch of the 2 stitches to sit in the front, because we're going to pull it across the work so that it will go to the left. So we're going to sit it in the front. Again, you can just hold it there with your thumb, and then you're just going to knit into that second stitch. And again, you could put this stitch back on your left hand needle, or you can just knit it directly off your cable needle. So that's the left 1x1 left cross. And you can see that this one is leaning to the left. All right, let's do it again with the cable needle. Get over here. So we'll take our cable needle purlwise through that stitch, put it in the front, knit the next stitch, and then knit the stitch on our cable needle. There we go, that's our left leaning decrease with our cable needle. And now let me show you how I do the left leaning decrease without a cable needle. Similar to the right cable cross method, I'm going to take both of those stitches over onto the other needle, and this time I want this stitch in the front, so I'm going to pull this stitch in the front. See, I'm just slipping my left hand needle through that second stitch. I'm going to pull them both off. I know it seems scary, but you can see that that other stitch is being held back there with my finger. And I'm just going to slide into that stitch and put it on my needle. And then I can knit through that first stitch there and knit through that second stitch. And you see we've created the left leaning cross here, just the same as with the cable needle, just by rearranging our stitches. So let me show you that again. So I'm going to slip my right hand needle into both of those two stitches on my left hand needle, pull them off onto my right hand needle. And because I want this guy to be in the front, I'm going to go purlwise through it, and I'm going to slip them both. And you see I have that stitch just hanging back there. It's not going anywhere. It's my fingers protecting it. And I'm going to stick my needle right in it. See that? It just goes right in there. And I'm going to put it right on my needle so that I can knit it along with its other stitch there. So we've created the left leaning cross. And then the other method that you might see is to knit both of these stitches just in a different order. So you would come up between them through the front loop. You would knit that one. So there's our stitch, and then we're going to knit our first stitch and let them both come off. Then you can see we have a left leaning, our left cable cross that's leaning to the left there. I'm not a huge fan of that method. I much prefer to just pop my stitches off in my hand and rearrange them and then knit them, especially if I'm just doing a 1-by-1 cross. And I'll show you very basically what they might look like to you. So a right leaning cable is going to look like this, and a left leaning cable is going to look very basically like that. So there you go. Happy knitting!